And sorry to Jason.
R.I.P. Jason.
Not here today.
He's not actually
sick.
dead.
Yeah, he's sick today, so we're gonna.
He's got the COVID. The COVID.
He might have the vid. He might have a sinus infection, but we're thinking.
The government says it's COVID. So
you said this. They took her.
I'm sorry, NSA man.
So awesome. We are here with Brad Buchert,
Felix,
as always,
Archibeque.
and the now.
Did I just pronounce that correctly?
And I'm gonna say Felix Archa. How? I was kidding.
You got it. Felix Archibeque. Something Obscene Company. Most of you probably have some of his knives. Knives.
Yeah.
Knives is actually how you say it. Yeah.
I say knives.
So Felix, Something Obscene. Tell us, where did it come from? No, the title. I actually want to know the name of the company. Where did it came from?
So Something Obscene started when I had a little photo business. I was looking for a name. Basically, I started to think, I was like, I needed something obscene of a name, and that's just kind of where it took off. I just wanted, people to look at my artwork and, say something obscene, basically. So you open up one of my knives, and that's the first word that comes out of your mouth, and that's kind of what I went off of. So
awesome.
It works.
So I had never seen any of that art, actually. I want to see some of that. Can we, between now and when Mikey here produces, we're going to have to get some of that and pop it up on the screen.
So, yeah, we'll see.
Some of the original artwork.
Here's some original art.
From?
And then
I originally wanted to go to art school. That was my main goal, but that didn't work out. So
where did you grow up from? Like where you from? Where you from, dude?
Where you from is?
So I grew up in Ridgeway, Colorado, southwestern Colorado. If you've seen the original True Grit movie with John Wayne, that little town where it's filmed in, that's where I grew up.
How far from Durango or Dove Creek?
Durango is about 2 hours over the mountain pass.
Okay. Over the mountain pass. Something they say a lot in Colorado.
Over the mountain. Over the mountain pass.
Over the mountain pass there. That one. That mountain pass.
Now, Durango, that's where I went to like 2 or 3 years at FCA camp, like Fellowship of Christian Athletes.
Oh.
Went there with
You were
Union.
a Christian athlete?
I was.
What kind of
more
athlete?
More of a Christian.
Greco-Roman wrestling?
Not a mathlete, because I'm not that good. But no, Durango was amazing. We went to this camp and we got to climb the mountain. We're already up there, but it was like a hill. But we're already up here, so a mountain's cool. So I did it one time. I thought I was going to die, but that was cool. But needless to say, you grew up there.
No, there's a need to say, actually.
No,
it's not needless to say.
A fat kid. Yeah, I was
Everything
a fat
you
kid.
just fucking said means need to say.
Yeah. But so you grew up there doing art, and you started doing that. So what?
Ridgeway, from
Ridgeway. I grew up in Ridgeway. Lived there, traveled a little bit, and then I came down to Oklahoma for line work. So I was a lineman for several years. Came down
lineman,
here. Yeah, I was a transmission lineman. Built all power lines all over the U.S. And that's kind of where
electricity.
Yeah. So being at Sparky to engineer, and working with our local power company forever. That's how the brewery. If I didn't have those connections, I couldn't have the brewery from PSO. But as a lineman, dude, that's insane because you would get called up, right? Like, hey, fire, or hey.
We did. Yeah, we did a lot of storm works on transmission lines.
Well, turns out there are a lot of storms in Oklahoma.
Yeah, a lot of tornadoes.
Who knew?
Tear down.
So how? Sorry, Matt.
Mike? He meant Mike. I'm pretty sure.
Mike.
I
said Matt. I said Matt twice. So
maybe this is
Mike.
Matt. And that's Mike. Mike.
Muchos.
Did you just do that?
Los Santos. Sorry, I don't know. So you went from
Felix, help him.
No, just tell me I'm an idiot. But So you went from a lineman to artist or artist and lineman, and then
So I used to build houses in Colorado, and then, I mean, it was off and on. You get laid off, back to work, and then got to the point where I was waiting on a phone call for either oil field or waiting for a phone call from my brother for line work, and my brother was the first one to call. So I basically told me I got 24 hours to get my ass down to Oklahoma, and I picked up and left.
Done.
So I went and lived in Ponca City. That was like kind of home base for a while. And then just basically traveled, lived on the road, lived in hotels, RV parks, and wherever the line took us.
so were you? How old are you? Like,
I came down to Oklahoma, what was it, 2011? I'm 33.
Okay.
So came down to Oklahoma, traveled, partied, had fun. And then got to the point where line work kind of just turned to shit and sucked, and I was away from family, away from home. I had a daughter, and that was kind of and a fiance, girlfriend turned into my wife. So
It's weird how they do that, right?
So basically, I was just traveling on the road. I was gone all the time, and it just got to the point where line work went all political and safety went out the door, and
yeah, that's
And,
weird
just-
how that's happening. That political bullshit. So
yeah. So
So tell us, all right, so you moved on from that. You came down here, and give us the origins of Something Obscene. Obviously, you told us about the name, but where did the company come from, and how did it turn from maybe just an idea into an actual company, and then kind of...
So I've always been a pretty big hobbyist. I find a hobby like photography. That was my main gig all through high school. I was in the dark room the whole time. Then it turned to painting.
You had a dark room in your high school?
Oh, yeah.
You must have had more than 2,000 people in your hometown.
hey,
We
had
we had my graduating class was 26 kids, and we had the biggest graduating class. So
I had 76. That's the smallest graduating class I've ever heard of until
I had like
this guy.
1,900.
I think we had like
No one cares about
230
you, though.
kids from K through 12 in our school. So we didn't have like a high school or a middle school. It was one school,
So
K through.
that's Ridgeway, though?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
So you guys are I had
Far
1,900
southwest
kids.
Colorado.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So go on.
And you're weird wherever you.
So
Yeah.
line work, I mean, basically you stay in all these towns. There's no restaurants. You have a gas station. That's about it. And usually a bar. So you get out, you go to work 12 hours, come home, or come to your hotel or
Take a
your
shower,
RV
go to the
park
bar.
and go to the bar. That got old real fast. So picked up knife making. One of the guys that I worked with showed me some things, and I just kind of, as soon as I got off work, I made a little forge. Went and bought some shitty steel that couldn't cut anything, but started.
But you made a forge?
Yeah,
So
like
that's-
center block, and like propane little.
Okay.
yeah.
I was like, man, how do you make a forge?
Well,
because I was
that's-
like, wait, I thought that's something you bought.
So I'm a huge fan of.
Don't say forge and fire.
Oh, God damn it.
So yes, Forge and Fire. But I know that's crazy and that's all.
Shout out Will
bullshit,
Willis.
But Will Willis, great guy. I watched History Channel
I
forever.
mean, whip all our asses.
He
but
is. Hey, he was a good dude. But Doug Marcaida, yeah, he's. I mean, all the day, like Jay Nielsen, everybody on that show is like
Anyway,
getting on that train.
besides
But
all the
anyways,
names,
but how
Austin.
to like when you got like to make a forge? What did you know? Like,
oh, yeah, actually, that's...
you needed to
I
build.
Did you
Did
YouTube it?
yeah.
Is
Like,
that like-
basically
yeah.
just hours and hours of research.
Oh, dude, that's
Metal,
That's,
learning your metal, learning like
what you
grain
learned about
structures.
The carbon, yeah, the carbon
I mean-
and like, hey, how to heat treat. But how did you know what? Like, hey, I'm gonna get this forge. Like, if you watched Forge and Fire, some of the guys home forges, they're like, oh, I make.
I never
knives.
watched it.
I think
You
I've seen
watched-
like
you
2 episodes.
Whatever,
That's
I've
it.
watched every episode. It's
That's the
fake.
most. That's the most asked question I get is when I tell people, "Oh, I'm a knife maker." Oh, you
Yeah,
seen
you
Forge
know
in the
that,
Fire? Yes.
But yeah,
seen
you
it.
see,
Yes.
obviously it's TV BS, but I watch like if there's a show that talks about Alaska and surviving there, or not necessarily Alaska.
Have you ever been to Alaska?
But no, I'm not going to name it on Discovery, but they talk about, there's a guy named Eustace that makes hand forged stuff. So treat yourself. That's the wit. Yeah, now get that. There's more. You're going to like it, I promise. You're going to like it the way it tastes. I guarantee it. Not to be, I was kidding. But to see, like, after watching these shows, and obviously I went down the YouTube rabbit hole, but
Mike,
I
put
can
the
make,
drink down. Mike's just taking shots over here. Like, it
Mike,
doesn't even matter
get
what
over
we're
here
doing.
and drink a beer.
Mike, hey, do a little work here, buddy.
So
Come on.
you banged out knives. So have you
Banged out? What?
banged out knives? That's a term. But have you made a Damascus blog? Like I want to
I
ask
haven't
you.
made Damascus. No.
You haven't?
No.
Okay. So you start. How did you start off making knives? Like what material?
So I mainly
he was gonna
when I
tell
was
us.
when I was making knives,
until I cut them off, right?
I mainly did stock removal. So I'd go buy
Okay.
knife steel, good carbon steel or knife or stainless. I start off with carbon and switch to stainless.
Oh, shit. Number one.
But-
Number one.
So I started in an RV park. Basically, went and bought some tools, bought a little cheap Harbor Freight anvil,
Yeah.
propane,
Yeah.
and then just started making knives. And
How cool was that the first time you hammered out something?
it's pretty awesome. It's
Yeah, you're like, oh shit.
So
It's addicting.
Yeah.
So take me through, and this is for me because the only forges I've seen have been very well constructed, right? They're more
Yeah,
they're
you
probably
can,
small,
you can
like-
buy some.
So,
you
so
can
I didn't
build
know that you could just be like, I'm gonna build a fucking forge. So I'm gonna meh, meh, meh. So
Oh, yeah.
how do you do that?
That's a huge thing. Great question.
Yeah, but I didn't know that until just now.
But
so
build- your
certain
own,
heat
so-
block. I mean, propane tanks. It's a big old setup. But I went from just like a handheld little gas powered
Mm-hmm.
blower. I got my steel hot enough and dipped it in oil, and that was it. And that was when I knew nothing about knife making. I was just starting out.
Enough to know that, hey, we have to do this, heat it up, and then
You
treat
take
it.
a file and you file the edge. Oh,
File
if it
test,
doesn't
yeah.
scratch, then
Well,
your
that's
heat
a file
treat
test,
is,
yeah.
You know, it is
It's
what
good,
it
it's
is.
cool.
It might be good.
So if you don't know, which everybody, if you've ever seen a podcast or anything,
why are you looking over? Oh, there's a camera there.
there's a camera there. So,
He's like camera
Hey, guys.
one, camera two.
Camera-
Hey.
so when you get good carbon steel, you pound it out, you treat it, but once you dip it in oil, the file test is how you know it's hard.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
so
Yeah, I'll take
yep,
that one.
couple more. We'll do it. But so speaking to, like you said, not to say Fortune Fire, but that is it's kind of cool thing that hey, people are now like, I'm gonna make my own knife. So you see people like even other Discovery channels like, hey, I'm getting good carbon steel, heating it up, doing my knife test, but they're cutting it out with a jigsaw and like a lawnmower blade. You can make a good knife out of a lawnmower blade. It's high carbon steel, but you do that, but that's just making a good knife, a good blade, good. Hey, it's not warped, but the handle and everything else. That's a pretty big skill.
Yeah,
So-
one of the reasons why I started making knives was I was at the point where I couldn't afford to buy, the $200-$300 knife.
Oh yeah.
So I was like,
Oh,
shit, I'll
thank
just
you,
make
Brad.
one.
Appreciate
So I learned
that.
how to make one, and now here I am. So
How much like I could only imagine in my head. Like I want to do that. I have so much copper. I want to like make ingots, have a little forge, but I watch that stupid show. But I want to make a knife. I'm like, shit, I could do high carbon steel and cut it out with a grinder and then do that. But what was your like when you first started making your own handles and the grips?
Yeah, what's your
How
next step?
cool
Your
is
next
that?
step so you did basically a
the first
handmade forge, and then
Yeah.
Yeah, so like the first 2 or 3 blades I made, I mean, they were shit. They were ugly as hell. I thought they were awesome. It was a big accomplishment in my
yeah.
mind.
What handles though? What did you do for
Where they are
handles?
now, I know one of them. I know one buddy that still has my first one I made.
All right.
And then the other ones, I think I raffled off for charity causes. And that's kind of where I built something obscene. Was I started doing a lot of charity work. So my wife likes to tithe to the church. I don't
Yeah,
believe in
absolutely.
tithing to the church.
Yep.
100%.
I think money should go
I love me
to
some
a-
Jesus. That's my Jesus.
I think a
He is
lot.
very
I think
much-
money should go
I'm a
to
horrible Christian,
to
but
the people.
I love Jesus. But
So-
Now
no,
it's to the
that's
people.
amazing.
I think
My
my second
wife's
my
way better.
My second knife I forged out it was an old file. I think it was like Valentine's Day or something. I saw some GoFundMe on Facebook of a wife who her husband just got back from Iraq or something or Afghanistan and got in a car accident on the way home, and she was expecting a kid, and he had 2 other kids, and there's a good big old GoFundMe. So
Yeah.
I actually auctioned off that knife. I think I raised like $500. I
Nice.
made a little kit, and then just kind of people were bidding on it, and $500. I donated to the GoFundMe, and that's just kind of like, okay, like I can do this, and so I still do a bunch of charity work. So charity work is really, I think, what got me in the door, got my company going, and then just the skills and the blades just kind of
So
grew.
take us to the next step then. So
Yeah, so got to the
that's,
point
that's
to
the
where
beginning, right?
I was just making knives on my after hours from the line work. Like I said, I just was unhappy where I was at. My family was at home. I was juggling my daughter, custody stuff, making drives back and forth every Wednesday, make sure I had made my visitation and
Yep.
all that stuff. And then, my fiance was at home at the time. So I'd be home maybe 2 nights a month.
Yeah.
So
That's
it
tough.
just got old. It got old fast.
Yeah.
And then once my business started taking off, I started doing little stuff, making pendants, making keychains,
Okay.
knives. And it just got to the point where I was like, all right, I've had enough of line work. I told my wife, like, hey, I want to quit my job. I want to come home and make knives for a living. And she thought I was fucking
She was
crazy.
like, oh God.
Pretty good, I imagine.
Yeah. She's like, what?
Son of a bitch.
I mean, going from
I
line
knew
work,
it.
making hella good money,
Yep.
to not knowing if you can make it or not.
So
That was a
that
big jump.
The spot where you said, "Hey, I make good money, but if I can make a pretty good money and hang out with my kids, like this is it."
If I could get by.
Yeah. How did that go?
Yeah.
So because
Yeah.
I feel like what he's
We've
alluding
all
to. So there's a point at which, and I feel
the
like
jump.
you
That-
probably
that
went through
jump.
this. It's like,
Jump.
all right. I was
The
like,
jump.
hey, so here,
Yeah.
this is what's
It's-
happening. If
it's
I
the
can do
jump.
this, we're just gonna do that. You cool?
And that's the same anxiety, same like, oh shit, like the same everything in every industry. Like when you want to start and stop working for the man.
But who's the man?
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? The mania, sick it to the
don't.
maniosis.
Wait,
But
well, exactly
when we
what
get
man are
hey,
you talking
I'm gonna
about?
do this, and I'm gonna make a little bit less money, or in my case, a lot less money. But hey, I'm gonna take the kids to school. I get to do all this. Oh, sorry. Thank you. Sorry. Sorry, Matt. I got you.
Go. I got you.
It's my bag of thing. Don't you dare. Don't you dare. I will.
Excuse
I'll
me,
flick you in
Mr.
the forehead.
Ferguson. You have to speak into the mic because no one hears
So anyway,
a fucking thing you're saying.
and it's weird. Like when you go from the heart, you like want to back up and like, hey, this is awesome thing. So as dads, all of us here, except for
Mike's a dad.
Mike,
I mean,
you got a kid? A dog, so he's not a dad.
Well, I
so.
was looking at dad in a different.
Yeah, it's true.
different way.
But so from different industries, you make sharp things. He thrives on sharp things, throwing it at a bullseye, and I thrive on making sure people have enough courage.
Austin just went from like, to like,
I feel bad
thrive
now,
on
so.
sharp things.
All right,
What do
sorry.
you thrive on, Felix?
Sorry, sir. So I thrive on making people have confidence so they can throw fun
No, you
stuff.
don't. That's not what you thrive on at all.
That's not true. But it's cooler when they do. So
So, all right. So you came to the point, and
announced me.
assuming you had a conversation with the fiance at the time,
Yeah.
right? It's like, hey, I think this is taking off. It is actually taking off, and I just want to do this full time. How did that go? Run us through that.
Well, yeah, I
Didn't go
looked
very
up
well.
Shut
buying
up.
his knife. No,
Shut up. Shut the fuck up. I don't
I
want to hear
have
from
to-
you.
No,
I don't
no.
even. I wasn't
One-
talking to you. I was talking to him.
2 seconds.
God damn it.
I wanted to buy one of his knife. I have to not pay my truck payment for 2 months to buy
That's
one of his
fair.
knives. So that's what I
If
said. But anyways,
if you just want to know what level he's on,
I'm telling you, that's like,
hey,
well, shit,
hey,
I'm gonna buy one.
Felix, I'll be fair. I was gonna be like, yeah, what's your problem? But I looked at him. I'm like, man, I really want like a stationary
Yeah,
like
there's
deer
no
hunting,
problem.
and I
I
want you
want
to
that.
make it. And I'm like, but I can't fucking afford you because his shit has gone. It is so popular.
Well, it's so
it
high
is-
quality.
Yeah, the quality is there, the design is there, that for us common folk, it's kind of hard to get there.
So if you don't give us a knife, we'll test it
yeah,
out.
hey
So-
Felix,
But
would you
anyways,
come open your pockets. You got knives in your pockets, bro?
I'm just kidding.
Nope. Heyo! Yeah, he does.
Okay.
I got
okay.
one.
Can I play with this?
Are you kidding me?
You can't play with it for sure.
Are you serious?
So yeah,
that's
so
dope.
had a conversation with my wife.
Yep.
She knew I was unhappy at doing line work. I mean, I loved power lines. It was the best job I've ever had,
fun.
except
Like-
for now making knives.
A
But
lot of stuff. Yeah, yeah.
Oh, man.
But I mean,
Until-
I left with, I don't know, I had like $1,200 in my pocket. We were living in an apartment. Didn't know how I was gonna make knives
Yeah.
in an apartment. I bought a new grinder, and I think I took
which took up like a third of that budget.
it was a lot. But I started out with little keychain pendants of cutouts of my knives, and I sat there in my apartment.
Hey, time out, and I apologize. Open this motherfucker up.
Let someone who knows how to handle a blade.
You just fucking watched it.
No. Close it.
Careful, it's sharp.
I'll
I
never
hope he cuts himself.
close it.
And I hate to do this at that time because
No.
you were just getting
Hey,
deep.
There you
that's
go.
real
look at that
That's
spring.
pretty good.
Real cute.
I was looking you in the eyes. I'm a knifesman,
You're a what?
Nice.
Is that a thing? I don't think
knifesmith.
that's an actual thing.
It is now.
That is dope. There's a couple of birds I could see, so I'll sharpen
that's
it
his
for you.
Because I use my knives.
'Cause, yeah, that's what happens.
Dude,
when you actually
that
fucking
is
use it.
so many people that don't. They're like, oh yeah, I got knives, but look at that. Hey, fuck you, Brad.
Yeah, so I started making little keychains, and
How
that
do I
kind
not-
of.
what am I doing?
See, you're. That's why you don't. That's
Take a
why you
thumb.
shouldn't have it. You look at that, Brad.
I'm gonna hit
You
you.
should know that.
I'm gonna
You
hit
should
you.
know that.
I'm gonna hit you.
So when did you made straight blades, and now you're making?
So I originally started out making fixed blades. So we had an apartment. I was making stuff out of the apartment. I got by, paying the bills, and then
Up. Hey.
Sorry, go ahead.
Sorry.
He sucks. He's a girl.
paying the bills, and then just me and the wife talked. Right? All right,
Where'd you sell
we need
it
to
at?
move out. I sold everything I've done is started on Instagram. So it's a
It's
thumb.
like, are you doing Etsy prices? Are you meeting up? Brad, you suck. I told you.
That's so much.
No, turn it. Like, put your thumb on that nut. This is why I hate Brad.
Okay, you're doing it. Can you guys just talk me through it?
So imagine it's on a swivel. It's around.
I did it.
Yeah?
I did
So
it.
if you push it straight up, it's not going to flip open. I mean, it will, but
Flick it like a circle.
flip it like it's going to rotate.
You're flipping out.
Yep.
Yeah, I remember my first beer.
Is there another?
So,
Yeah,
like weird people like Brad that can't.
So if
Jesus
if I had another knife,
Christ.
I'd probably hand you a flipper because it'd be
Flip it this way.
easier. We'll have a flipper
Like a
tab.
circle. Like a circle, Brad.
That's really weird because I
No,
guess I was
flick
pushing
it like
I
a
was pushing
fucking
it-
circle.
So I was probably pushing it up instead of out, right? But I'm
You
still.
still
not-
can't. Fucking
There you go,
circle.
just like that.
Okay,
But do it like
my
you
fault.
actually have a penis.
let's get a new problem. So we literally jumped into your story. So go ahead.
So, oh, go ahead.
No, it's I'm
No,
so
it's
setting
literally
you
his
up.
story.
No, I'm
you
setting
shut
you
the
up.
fuck up.
So-
and tell your story.
Yes,
Started making little stuff, getting some income in. We figured that if we need to go anywhere, if a business is going to go anywhere, I need a shop, a garage.
On fixed blades?
On fixed blades. So
Did you do Kydeck? What was your holster? Holsters?
I did Kydex.
Okay.
But so we went from apartment to rented a house, and then that's where I started buying more equipment, buying kiln, all my equipment you basically need for fixed blades, and I started
Yeah.
making fixed blades. Fixed blades started taking off. Kept doing charity work, and then basically what happened was I reached out to a couple U.S. makers to do some CAD work for me. And it just took like 3 months to get some CAD work done, and then it was horrible.
You knew
He
that-
literally just
The sign you wanted.
just
like, you
scanned it
wanted.
in. Oh, sorry, dude, it took so long. Scanned it in, and that was it. I'm like, this ain't.
How did
This
you
is
do that?
exact like the
I could have done that
Yeah.
in like Microsoft.
yeah.
Well, how like
so
you
I
say
reached-
CAD work, how did you send them your knife?
So all my knife designs I do on graph paper. I still draw all my knives on graph paper or paper, and then I do CAD work off of that.
But the edge, and I'm getting weird. Sorry, don't get mad at me. So I'm a knife buff. So this is your knife, right?
Yep.
Unfucking believable.
Thank you.
And I say I don't cuss on this podcast much, but dude,
Clearly.
the angles in the way
The angles of your dangles.
No, the way I could sharpen this. How did you know that, hey, I'm going to sharpen this? So you knew, like, the back profile. You knew you were going to do high carbon steel. Where was that process? That's what I want to know. Like, this
This is
amazing
later
knife.
down the road. These are production. So
So
everything I
this
do
is,
now.
like, crazy.
So, yeah,
like,
you're
okay.
you're skipping
You-
some-
So go back to your story.
Sorry,
where
sorry,
you were,
sorry.
go-
So I started making fixed blades.
I love this knife.
But fixed
Sorry.
blades, and you
Fixed
you
blades.
sent out to domestic companies, and they came back with CAD
I'm
design.
So I
They're
did.
like
So
just
basically,
scans.
my first production was I started doing fixed blades. I was
What
doing all
would
the
it
heat
take-
treat. I was doing all the.
I'm gonna put you on the spot right now. Sorry, Felix.
You're good.
What would it take to get a fixed blade out of you right now?
You can't. Because I don't make anymore.
What if
So
you
everything I
did?
do.
What would it take to make you make it? No, I don't
Lot
have
of
it.
money.
I don't have it.
No,
Doesn't matter.
Don't
You-
ask
like,
that
I don't
question.
have
You
it.
can't because
I ain't got it.
I sold a lot of my equipment.
Is this first one gen?
No, this is version 3.
How much does that make you so proud? Like you're just like,
Is your wiener like?
It's like half chub.
dude, that's hey, I'm super.
I'm semi right
hey,
now.
I'm
gonna be
super
honest.
pumped to have some beer, but this, knowing what I know about metal and owning a business, holy shit.
To be
That's so
completely
dope.
honest, though, for both you boys, the first batch I put out, the first fermentation vessel that was kegged, I would be just
Well, yeah, but
super hard
No,
everywhere.
we've done it that
This
great,
as well.
but look at him flip a fucking knife open. Is an amazing knife.
So carry on. So keep the story going.
So
yeah.
I was making fixed blades,
Yep.
working on the
So
garage,
hard. Carry on.
and then that was doing good. So I decided. So what actually happened was, I found a company, We Knives, and I asked them. They did CAD work on their profile, and this was before they got big. So they did CAD work. So I reached out to them like, "Hey, can you guys do CAD for me?" And within 2 days, I had 2D CAD. They're like, "Hey, do you want 3D CAD of this?" I'm like, "Sure." A day later, they sent me a 3D CAD, and then a day later, they're like, "Hey, do you want us to produce this for you?" I was like, "All right."
I mean,
how much?
so- Prototype.
How much?
All right. As a knife maker, so what was your purpose? Like, what knife? Like, don't be like that.
My purpose was to pay rent and
no,
feed my
not
family.
that. Like, what type of knife? I get it. Yeah. Hey, we're all trying to pay bills. Boo boo.
My goal was to hit
But a
1,000
knife.
followers.
What makes your knives that good? Am I cutting a prime rib, or am I? Go ahead.
No, but yeah, they came to you and they're like, "Hey, we can turn this around this fast. We can. Oh, you want 3D? Yeah, we can turn that around tomorrow." And they're like, "Hey, do you want us to produce this?"
Yeah,
And I
so-
assume the next thing was like prototype.
So yeah, prototype, and then like, "Hey, we can do 100 of these for you for so much."
So
And it was.
Do you have a
It was a
purpose for your
big-
knives, or you're just obviously we want to make money.
I mean, you
so-
can open boxes. You can open up. I mean, I use like
No,
the
no.
first prototype I have.
get that. for
That's
sure.
that's my potato
But you're not
cutter
having
and my green chili knife.
Right. You're not
But,
saying
I mean,
hey,
you can-
this
you
is
Green chili?
a green chili knife. You're just saying, hey, this is gonna be sharp as fuck, good steel.
I've made knives for skinning deer. I've made knives for chef knives.
We
But-
do still have to talk about the skinning deer part. All right, so you go back and they say we can 2D, a 3D tomorrow. Do you want us to produce this? Go from there.
So did that, and that's really where the business took off. I got the prototype in. I did video. I think that video has over 190,000 views on Instagram. And this was back when Instagram was awesome, for all the bullshit.
Yeah.
When you could get followers and
it's
people
like
can actually
your
see your
political-
stuff.
Organic
political
growth.
views,
Yeah. And it just took off. So I did I think my first production run I did 100, sold those, did good, and that funded, my machinery, my fixed blades, handmade custom fixed blades, and then my custom fixed blades took off.
Oh wait, so you still have all that machinery?
I have some of it. I've sold a lot of it off just because
Don't.
I can't.
Just
I can always
don't.
buy
Just
new.
don't.
But so started getting successful, and then Jason, he had the company Bedlam Beard Company.
Yep.
He was big successful on his beard oils, and he'd come over. I think the first time we met, he'd come over to my shop, and he was slinging little pry bars and knuckles and
Yeah.
all that bottle openers and stuff. So he came over, used my shop. We met, hung out, drink beer, smoke cigars, built our friendship from there. And
Done some crack, whatever. It's
No.
whatever.
not crack, but
No,
We did not do crack cocaine.
But-
no.
so he had a bigger following than I did on Instagram with his beard oil. He was successful with that, and then our Instagrams were growing. I was growing. I hit my 1,000 goal followers, and then my next goal is 5,000. Hit that, and just kept on growing. And then we started Beard and Blades. So we moved down here on Main Street, Jinx,
yep.
where shout out to
Gutwood External LLC.
So we had Beard and Blade, and I moved the shop out of my house. We actually got rid of the house and moved back to an apartment, so we started saving money for a house.
Yeah.
So we had overhead for Beard and Blades, started doing Beard and Blades. It was successful for for a year, and then just slowed down. I was building knives. I had a little build-a-blade bar. You come in, you could choose I had like 7 knife designs, fixed blades. You can choose your knife. You could choose your material of the blade, either Damascus or just stainless steel or carbon.
That's awesome.
You could choose your liners for your handles, choose your handle material, your pins, sheath colors. I mean, so it was like Build-A-Bear, but for knives.
Was that just not feasible from a margin standpoint, or what? Because I'm thinking like right now, it's like I would love to do that. I would jump on it.
So when I was doing all my sales on Instagram, I'd have someone hit me up. Hey, I want you to build me a knife. I mean, I'd give them the same option. This is, they choose what knife they want, what kind of handles, and I go find it. I make the knife. I tell them, 30 days, I'll get it to you.
Yeah.
But it was cool that people come in and they would actually be able to see the handles, the blade, hold it, choose what they want. And I literally had a table like this, full of material, and people like that. They like the options. They like
I would right now.
The choices. I tell them.
I said I'm buying in, and he's like, it's like $300. I'm like,
Yeah, cool. Carry on.
So we did that.
Sorry.
That was successful, and I still did my Instagram sales. So yeah, I just kept on growing. Then me and Jason, business wasn't doing too great, so we shut down shop. It was too much overhead.
Yep.
He sold not Beard Blades.
Bedlam.
He sold Bedlam.
Yep.
Got in the coffee business. I had an idea for the axe throwing place. And he's like, oh, no, we can't do that here. I'm like, oh, we should throw some lanes in the back. And then we got out, and then he opened up.
Let's put some lanes in the
Yeah,
back.
he got some Gotwood, and he's been successful, so good for him. And then I just went back home. Then we bought a house.
Yeah.
So I started making more fixed blades out of the house, out of the garage.
Still fixed blades at this time.
Yeah, fixed blades.
Okay.
And I still did. And then once my first run of, they're namely fixed blades, the cleavers, I did a couple other versions. That brought more money in. And that just continued to grow. Something Obscene, pay for materials, pay for rent, take care of the family. And then I got in a car accident, was it about 2.5, 3 years ago? Mm-hmm. And it kind of just shut everything down.
Sure.
So I was on the couch for 2 years with a back injury. So I shut down. I couldn't stand behind grinder all day.
Yeah.
I was on the couch, and so I basically moved everything from custom to production. So that's where I'm at now. The last year I've been good to where I can walk around all day, mobile.
Yeah.
And now all I do is
Sorry, Brad.
production knives. So all my folders, fixed blades. Now I do a couple versions of fixed blades.
You do?
Yep.
I didn't even know that.
So I have the JK fixed blade, just like this one, but it's a fixed blade. I have my original Nemley fixed blades. I'm going to do another run this year.
So what's the difference? Because I'm ignorant to that. So fixed blade to me was, I guess, like a stack. What's a
full tang.
Yeah, full tang knife.
With there is no movement.
No break.
So for me, because I hunt deer, I want a blade, and this is my skin. It's like the sharpest fucking blade ever. And it can be small, but I want it. I call it fixed, but what does that mean? Full tang?
Full tang, so it's one piece. The whole thing is
one piece.
Yep.
Full tang, that's what it's called.
Yep.
So do you still do full tang, or
On
did
my
you ever do
productions,
full tang?
yeah. So I always did full tang. Towards the end, I started doing like some high-end custom Bowies, where they're like half tang,
nice.
to where you could pop your handles off and they all screw together.
Yeah.
It's like the best survival knife right now. Like what people say, oh, you have a Bowie. Oh, let's put shit in the handle. So, I mean, I'm knife maker. Like I love buying knives. I love survival shit, but it's so stupid right now. Like Bear Grylls. Oh yeah, I got it. Sorry, Brad.
So take me. Well, again. Okay, so
Brad's like, all right, fuck you.
so full tang. So you guys just said something. So full tang means everything is set,
It's all one piece.
all one piece. You have a handle.
Handle, everything, blade, it's all one
Steel
solid
from
piece.
tip to toe. You have a full thing.
So if I want, and you're still making full tang knives,
Production.
yes or no?
Production.
No.
So,
Okay.
no.
Right. Are you making anything custom or everything production?
No, everything right now is production.
Okay. So how did you make that leap? And this is a big thing because for us, we're small business owners,
Yeah.
and you've made that leap from. It's crazy because it's all different.
Yeah.
The same thing for you is him going 90% production out the back,
Right.
where he's producing, going to a distributor, and going to everything else out the back. How did you make that leap? And you did touch on this, but how did you make that leap in going to full production? I mean, obviously there were reasons why you did, but what did you do? Not only, I mean, you had the following, so that was a key piece. You had the production
Product.
side as well. You had the product, you had the design, which is the key. The
Yeah.
key piece.
So the first folder I did was the J kit,
Mm-hmm.
and it took off. So
Did you know
it was
that
basically
beforehand?
what's that?
You were like, ooh, this
Yeah.
might
So
work.
first folder design, and it was a big hit. And the biggest thing was the jump. Again, the jump from going
This
from
is from here to.
and it's mainly a money jump.
Well, going from
Cost.
yeah.
So the cost of
What was your
switching,
minimum? What was your minimum on your first order?
I think it was 100 knives.
So how much did 100 knives cost you though? Just so everyone knows.
Dude, what was that
it's not
jump
a
to
small
the next jump?
investment. It's
It's-
a large investment.
A large investment.
Yeah.
You went from this
So it's
to
basically,
fuck.
went from, all my money, I can make a fixed blade it takes about 20 hours with heat treat.
Right.
Yeah.
So 20 hours, just my time.
Yeah. Well, that's worth
I work for basically nothing, plus
Yeah.
material costs, handle costs, liners, pins, steel,
So from that
belts.
to that was 100%. Like, shit, I'm doing it.
Yeah, it was a jump.
Don't me.
What?
So
That's what you asked. So.
yeah, it was basically just a cost, and I put out. So my first production run of the Nemley fixed blades was a huge hit. Did those funded the next step, and those funded my customs. Then you save, and then you
So
jump.
you
You
felt-
put down a deposit for your production, your next run of productions, and then what I do is I do pre-orders.
Yeah.
So I have a pretty good following. I have a lot of very, very.
Really? Dixon flannel?
I have
Love it.
people that no matter what I put out, they'll always support me.
Absolutely.
I have a great following, great people. So I jumped in, did pre-orders on my first folded run. That was successful, and then people started, hey, I need this knife. Are you doing more? So I started doing more, and these were all 100 unit productions.
Orders. Yeah.
Small,
Yeah.
but they'd sell out. They sell out fast, and now I'm at the point to where I can't even keep up.
What's your order right now? When you put an order in, what is it?
I just did a pre-order, and it was what I haven't produced is about 700 knives.
I was gonna say 500, but it's 700.
That's awesome.
So
Jesus. Do you need an investor? 'Cause
I
I'll
do.
give you I'll give you like $200 right now.
I got some crypto coin right now.
I'll give you.
some dog.
I'll
Doge.
give you. I'll give you
Doge, yeah.
0.1. I'll give you 0.1 Bitcoin.
Yeah. no,
Or-
that's yeah, no Bitcoin. Yep, it's
Yeah.
gonna do good.
No, that's amazing,
Dogecoin, we got it. We're fine. So, no,
That's
man,
amazing. So
thank you.
what's your next step? Like what? So you're doing great. You're obviously capitalizing on the
China?
So the first,
China.
yeah.
You push it over that big,
Sorry.
So the first couple runs, got me by. It's got me by. Family's fed, house is paid for.
Sure.
Mortgage is paid. And now I'm
Lucky.
just. And then COVID hit, and COVID was last year was a scary year.
wow.
So I had
Rough.
knife designs coming out. I was gonna do pre-orders, and then COVID hit, and so I pushed it back. I made sure hey guys, I'll make sure you're okay
Yeah, just
first.
so
I'm gonna
everyone
push this
knows.
back.
Yeah.
And it was my biggest year to date. So
Wow.
So last year was huge,
That's amazing.
We're in that wrong business.
and this year I'm trying
I
to.
just want to make sure everyone comes. I want to be able to stick them.
No.
Yeah, so this year I'm
trying to.
I'm trying to beat last year. But
That's
I mean,
awesome.
last year I quadrupled business,
Yeah.
which was ridiculous to me.
Well, you're about to get an order from me for a full tang.
Me too, man.
Full tang. Is that what we've
You don't.
discussed?
Yeah. If you don't
We're gonna
bring me
talk
a
after
knife-
this because there's a certain knife I want.
Now, fuck you if you don't bring me a knife. So.
I don't even know you're roaring right now. I don't even know what you're saying.
All right, that's your. So.
Ooh, ha, ha.
Just kidding.
No, hey, dude.
Close it out.
Thank you so much for talking through everything. And
This
and
awesome.
by the way, guys, go out to social media handles. Go out there.
Instagram is something_obscene_company.
So
Facebook.
many underscores.
I know. Facebook is just something obscene company. I have Facebook group page where you can find all my knives, secondary market. They're a little pricier, but it's obscene
how it works.
EDC.
Yep.
It happens.
Or my website is www.somethingobsceneco.com.
I'll cry and have real tears going to his website.
And if you guys haven't seen his shit, actually, I'm sure we're gonna pop it up several times through this
we-
podcast. Mikey says yes. Mikey, stop taking shots. Hey, we need you to work over here, bro. He's literally got your socials pulled up. But no, for real. Go out and get it, guys, because it is exceptionally well made. The design behind
Yeah.
it is amazing. And we're about to talk. We're about to will and deal. Beep, 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 beep.
This
Because
sexy
I need to
right-hander right here. Let's do it. Let's do it.
Oh, God, why do you
Hands
always have to-
across.
you don't have to do
no,
that.
we
You don't
gotta
have
do,
to do that.
hands across America. It's. Oh yeah, sorry, that's stupid.